Hello, faithful friends of the internet. I'm Jason Mayfield. This is Grace for Today, the show where I teach the Bible and help you experience grace for life through Jesus Christ. This week, we're talking about rest. Now, in the last episode, I did probably what is going to be the most theological message this year, the most biblical Bible. None of this stuff's going to be false. None of this stuff's going to be a lie and deception. But yesterday I did the most Bible-based teaching I'm going to do this week. The rest of the week, I'm going to be extremely pragmatic. I'm not going to lie to you. Moving forward, I'm going to be giving you a lot of courtesy scriptures. Some scriptures that I think well illustrate what I'm telling you, but this is not going over to Philippians 1 and pulling out every pragmatic tip that I can pull out for walking and living in rest. So if you need to catch up on the theological basis, go back to yesterday. But we're talking about this week how essentially, in my brain, how rest is better than the Sabbath. Recently, we're just hearing so many people talk about doing the Sabbath, being in the Sabbath, and it's just this recurring theme. Sabbath, if you will. Marsha. That being said, listen to me. My concern comes from two places. Number one, I expressed these yesterday. Number one is that the Sabbath is the law. It is the law. So it can produce legalism because it's not a far stretch since it's already in the Ten Commandments. So legalism can easily pop up. The other concern I have is that I know people who Sabbath. This is like really popular, and I'm seeing this in a lot of places. And I know people that Sabbath, they take that full day off, and they're not rested, and they're not walking in rest, and they're not experiencing rest. And at the end of the day, rest is better than the Sabbath. After all of the law, after all of the things that are written down that we can do, that we can follow, that we can obey, we get over to Hebrews chapter 4, and the author says, and still a Sabbath rest remains. Still, a Sabbath rest remains. And so we've kind of anchored into that passage this week from Hebrews chapter 4, verse 11, that says, let us labor to enter into the rest. So we're doing the work to enter into the rest. So I need, write this down if you need to. Sabbath does not equal rest. And rest doesn't equal Sabbath. They actually operate mutually exclusively, and you can Sabbath and not rest. You can rest and not Sabbath. I mean, they're not that. I want you to rest. I want you to enter into the rest. That's what I want for you. So today, I want to focus on actually entering into the rest, actually being rested physically, okay? And so actually having some rest in your life. And we're going to talk about different things on different days, but today I really want to talk about how to be physically rested, how to have energy, how to not be jacked up all day long and feeling like you're depleted all the time. So number one is this. You can write these down today. Prioritize your physical sleep. Prioritize your physical sleep. Look at what Proverbs chapter 3 says. Proverbs chapter 3 verse 24 says, if you lie down, you will not be afraid. When you lie down, your sleep will be sweet. My wife loves to sleep. She loves it. She loves sleeping. She loves resting. So she looks forward to that sweet sleep. She's trying to get that sweet sleep. I want you to listen to this from sleepfoundation.org. Sleep is an essential function that allows your body and mind to recharge, leaving you refreshed and alert when you wake up. Healthy sleep also helps the body remain healthy and stave off diseases. Hello, somebody. We need that right now, don't we? Without enough sleep, the brain cannot function properly. This can impair your abilities to concentrate, think clearly, and process memories. You know, I think for a lot of us that aren't getting that full sleep every night, and for adults, I think it's said that most adults need 6 to 7 hours of sleep. Most older adults need like 7 to 8 hours of sleep. I found kids need like 11 hours of sleep. I'm like, I want y'all to go to bed, man. Let the house go back to peace. Let it just go back to quiet. Y'all go to sleep for 11 hours, please. Thank you. Bless you. Physical sleep, I think sometimes what we're doing is we're pushing off that actual physical sleep, and we're thinking if I hustle and grind and I hustle and grind and I hustle and grind and I hustle and grind, then I'm going to get ahead. But the reality is you're having to put in even more physical effort when you're not getting the sleep because you can't concentrate, you can't focus, you can't remember things, you can't show up and give the energy you need to give to whatever project you're working on. And so you need to make sure that you're getting sleep. Sometimes the best way to speed up is to slow down. Sometimes you got to slow down to go fast. And so this is one of those areas, man. If you want to huff it and hustle and grind, and we are hustle and grind people. My wife and I are high achievers. I think that's one of the interesting things for me in this space of teaching grace is that I'm an incredibly high achiever. And when high achievers come into the grace revelation, a lot of times they don't know what to do with it. They're like, man, I had a pastor who came into a grace revelation of a large church, and he's on the phone with me, and he says, Jason, here's the issue. I'm sold out on grace, but I still want to do things well. And sometimes it feels like that's a contradiction, but it's not. And so make sure you're getting sleep. Here's some tips to make sure that you're getting your physical sleep prioritized. Set an earlier bedtime than what you think you need. Try to go to bed earlier than you think you ought to try to go to bed. Okay? Lower the temperature at night. Lower the temperature. The colder you are, the easier it's going to be for you to fall asleep. I mean, I'm sure there's a crossover point with that. Spend money on a pillow you like. Look, I've been doing the $5, $10, $15 pillows for forever. I finally just jumped off and got me a purple pillow from the people who make Purple Mattress. And I'm telling you, the purple pillow has been a game changer for me. And I'm thinking about buying more of them. I'm loving my purple pillow. I spent some money and got me a good pillow. Spend some money and get you a pillow that you like. Take your phone out of your room. Take your phone out of your room. Don't eat things that are going to give you indigestion at night or acid reflux. These are little things that you can do that will help you prioritize your sleep. Number 2, set a daily schedule. Psalm 90 verse 12 says, so teach us to number our days that you may get a heart of wisdom. Okay, so here's the deal. Even if you don't typically thrive on a strict schedule, having a routine can be very helpful in times of unpredictability, uncertainty, or stress. So and I think we all have been living in unpredictability, uncertainty, and stress. After 2020, everything that happened, then we have this tumultuous election that everybody's on edge about. And then now, as I'm recording this, the whole country has been hit by a snowstorm. I got friends in Texas. Texas don't know what to do about the snow. Let's just be honest. Texas is confused about snow. And so they struggling right now. But when those things happen, having some kind of routine in place can really help. So implementing a structure to your day can give you a sense of control, and it can improve your focus, your organization, and your productivity. Now, this is what I really encourage if you want to start implementing some routine into your day. I started doing this years ago. It's been really helpful. I would encourage you to look into calendar blocking or time blocking, whatever you find that seems to work for you. But basically what it is, instead of operating on to-do lists and just things I need to do in the day, you actually go through your calendar and you block out all of the time that it's going to take to do those things. This helps in a couple of ways. Number one is it's on the schedule, so you know what time you need to be doing it. So there's an accountability factor. Another thing that it does, though, is it helps you not overcommit. I don't know about you, but once my to-do list hits a certain threshold, I'm like, there is no way on earth I can do that. And because I can't succeed, there's a natural paralyzing that goes on. I just kind of don't do anything because my procrastination kicks in to make sure that my imminent failure doesn't come to pass. So make sure that when you calendar block, or calendar blocking helps you make sure that you can see how much time you actually have to get things accomplished in the day. Some of you think you can do a 20-thing to-do list. In reality, you could probably only do about 6 things on a to-do list. But I'd rather get 6 done than none done. So it really helps. And then the other thing that I do is, and I think you should do, is I prioritize a few tasks that I do every day. I don't prioritize everything. Like my morning routine is not 19 points of, things to get done. I really prioritize read the Bible, drink a cup of coffee. That's really what I prioritize in the morning. Read the Bible, drink a cup of coffee. I always want things to be simple and easy in the morning. I don't do this anymore because of our house layout, but one of the things I used to do, now it would disrupt my kids if I did it, but one of the things I used to do is, you've probably heard of the book that Admiral wrote, Make Your Bed. Well, I can't make my bed, my wife's in it. And I feel like it would end worse than it should, according to him. But so I didn't make my bed in the mornings. What I did instead is I always unloaded the dishwasher. I do the dishes at night, and then I unload the dishwasher in the morning. I don't do that anymore, but that's something that's just easy task, helps you feel like you've won for the day. But I really prioritize that Bible and coffee time in, if you've been with me for a while, in the brown chair of meditation. That's right. I get a lot of questions about the brown chair of meditation. It came from IKEA. That's where it came from. If you want one, you can get your own brown chair of meditation if you want. Number 3, take intentional time off. Mark chapter 4, Mark chapter 4, I put the wrong verse in. I put in verse 41. It should be verse 46, so I'm not even going to touch it. But Mark chapter 6, verse 46 says, and after he had taken leave of them, he went up on the mountain to pray. This is when Jesus had finished with a great crowd, dealing with his disciples, dealing with the crowd. He's leading, he's teaching, he's doing all this. And when he gets done, he goes up on the mountain to pray. I think you could stop right there. He goes up on the mountain. He just retreats. He gets away. Listen to this. Employees who feel more detached from work during off hours are more satisfied with their lives and experience less emotional exhaustion and lower levels of other symptoms of psychological strain, such as poor sleep. It's important to intentionally take time off. So you got to set time that you step away. Now, you could do that weekly. That could be the Sabbath. That's great, but it could also not be weekly. It could be daily. You could daily set your time that you step away. You could have a routine at the end of the day. I know some guys who are in more executive roles. What they do is the last thing they do during the day is they clean their desk. And they say that when I clean my desk, it triggers my brain that I'm done with work. Maybe you need to, at the end of every day, just go, I'm done. And so you can step away from whatever you're doing and get some intentional time away. Because I know for us, we work from home. And someone told me, I know it's not as special now, but when we were doing it 3 years ago, people were like, man, you work from home? That's awesome. And someone asked one day, they said, is it awesome working from home? I said, it's great working from home as long as you're not sleeping at the office. And some days it feels that way. Some days it doesn't feel like we ever leave the work. The work just follows us wherever we're going. It's nonstop. That's the blessing and curse of cell phones, man. We're always connected and we're always connected. That's the blessing and the curse. You're always connected and you're always connected. It's two sides of the coin. You're always connected and you're always connected. And so it makes it tough, but those little routines that finish it up. I think cleaning your desk, having something that triggers you. Maybe you point at your desk and you say, I'm done. Maybe you point at your door and you say, I'm leaving. I don't remember what book it was, but I read in a book that the Japanese rail system has fewer accidents than anywhere in the world. Don't quote me on this. I think this is correct, what I read in the book. But they have fewer accidents than anywhere in the world, and it's because they have a look, point, say. So they'll look at what they're going to do, they'll point at what they're going to do, and they'll call what they're going to do. So they'll, if I was going to shut the door, I'd say, I'm shutting that door. And it just triggers your brain just to stay focused on that. So maybe you need to point at your desk and go, I'm done for today, and be done and step away. But make sure that you take time to step away. You can do that daily. You can do that weekly. You can do that monthly. Maybe you have a time of retreat every month. Or maybe you do it annually. Maybe it's a vacation. But nevertheless, you have intentional times that you step away. It can be all of those things. But I would also make sure that when you do step away, you do things you enjoy. Now, there's going to be responsibilities. Sometimes we leave our job at work to go to our job at home. So, I just talked about doing the dishes. I'm not particularly passionate about doing the dishes, but we leave our job at work to go do something. You need to make sure you're doing some stuff you enjoy. You make sure you have some enjoyment things in there. And so you're having a point of disconnection. For me, I almost always have to do television. It is the only thing that completely just brings me in, but it has to be the right shows. For years, I didn't watch Star Trek as a kid, but in my adult life, I kind of got turned on to it, and they were putting some on the Apple store, and you could download them, but they didn't have all the seasons. And then Netflix was coming out with the disc that they would send you, so I'd order seasons of Star Trek on Netflix. Then they put it on Netflix. I could watch it anytime. And I would come home when I was in church ministry, and I would just make sure I was intentional. Every day I was watching a Star Trek episode. I'd never seen it before. I was in it, and it was just a decompression point for me. Make sure that you're taking time to decompress. And when you travel, you need to make sure that you travel with leisure. Sometimes you want to travel so cheap that you create all this stress. If you're going somewhere and you're flying somewhere, don't pick the cheapest plane ticket. Pick a time in the day that you can go and not be stressed out about getting there, not be stressed out about leaving on time. Pick good times of the day. I don't shop plane tickets on price anymore. I shop for what I want to do when I want to do it. If you're used to driving an SUV, don't go somewhere and rent the tiniest compact car ever. Matter of fact, I really encourage, if you go somewhere that you're not familiar with, I think taking a Lyft or an Uber is a great thing to do. Now, I haven't done that during the whole thing that we've been walking through, so I don't know what it's like now. But I know when we would go to Disney World, I love doing that. I hate driving in Disney World. If you like driving in Disney World, you're a psychopath. But I didn't enjoy it. So what I do is I take these little minivans that they have, which is their little Uber. They call them minivans, like Minnie Mouse vans. They all look like Minnie Mouse. They got the polka dots and everything. We take minivans everywhere. We take a Lyft somewhere. I don't drive when I go there. I'm not worried about driving. I'm not worried about figuring it out. And I'm not worried about finding it on my maps. Not worried about if I got cell phone service to find things. I just use a driving service, get around. So take the stress out of your travel. So when you travel, make sure you take the stress out of it, or else you might come back more wound up than you left. Number 4, I want you to spend some time on passion projects. Exodus chapter 31, verse 1 through 5 says, "The Lord said to Moses, see, I have called by name Bezalel. Normally I get the names, but that was a good one. The son of Uri, son of Hur, from the tribe of Judah, and I filled him with the Spirit of God and with ability and intelligence, with knowledge and all craftsmanship to devise artistic designs, to work in gold, silver, and bronze, in cutting stones for setting, and in carving wood, to work in every craft." I love this passage because sometimes we think that all of our passion projects ought to revolve around something super spiritual. I love this. This guy's just a craftsman, but he's anointed to do it. And I think you need to find a passion project. So number 4, spend time on passion projects. I want to share one more thing with you. I'm loving some of these articles today. A passion project is a trendy name for doing something that excites and inspires you. You do it for your own satisfaction, not for anybody else's. It piques your curiosity and spurs your energy. It doesn't need a purpose. If you're already thinking, I don't have time for that, then consider this. Passion projects are about fostering your well-being by doing something that lights you up. A passion project may provide other benefits like learning new skills, meeting new people, contributing to a current career, or developing a new one. These bonuses are like icing on the cake, but even if they didn't happen, the inspiration, sense of satisfaction, and meaning the project provides will carry over into other areas of your life in beneficial ways. University of Pennsylvania Professor Adam Grant, who I'm almost positive is the one that I read that thing about the rail system in Japan from. But University of Pennsylvania Professor Adam Grant writes about pursuing creative interest relative to typical scientists. Nobel Prize winners are 22 times more likely to perform as actors, dancers, or magicians, 12 times more likely to write poetry, plays, or novels, 7 times more likely to dabble in arts and crafts, and twice as likely to play an instrument or compose music. In other words, when you have a passion project that you can work on that helps you detach, it's going to put you in a position where you're going to be more successful at the thing that it's unrelated to and could potentially give you benefits outside of that. So when I'll tell you this, when doing this program, you probably think, you've seen me do music, you've seen me do Bible teaching. I'm going to be honest with you. I had to go through a time where I was building stuff because nothing that refreshes normal people refreshes me. I'm not refreshed by the music. I'm not refreshed by reading the Bible, going to church, none of that stuff. But why? Because I associate all of it with work. So I started building stuff. And the most fun thing about building stuff was cutting the wood. It just refreshed me. As a matter of fact, I want to encourage you before we go, when you find a passion project, I really want to encourage you not to pretend that you're refreshed by stuff that you're not refreshed by. Don't pretend that stuff fuels you that doesn't fuel you and it actually drains you. I know you love your kids. I love mine too, but I'm going to be honest with you. When I'm with them, I'm not particularly refreshed. I need to make sure that it's not a vacation if my kids are with me. You know what I'm saying? So, getting into moments of prayer seems like it'd be refreshing, but it's not. It's a work thing for me. So you make sure that you're finding passion projects and not pretending that you're refueled by things that you're not. Hey, listen, that's all I've got for you today. I'm praying that you continue to experience grace for life through Jesus Christ. Hey, thanks for watching this video. Before you run away, you could click some of these things right here and watch them. I think those might be videos that interest you. Or you can click my face and subscribe to the channel, which really helps me because it boosts our algorithm, helps us share the gospel with more people, but also helps you stay informed. I've been talking this whole time just so you could do this.